This is my review of the Eagles album, The Long Run. It was released in 1979 and produced by Bill Szymczyk. So this album would have been the last of their albums, of like their original run of albums that I bought when I was going through and getting all of them. I think that's mainly because of like the reviews I read about it and stuff. But it's one of their albums that I've listened to more often than some of the others. I bought this vinyl copy last year, so I've not had it very long. It's got like opens up and has the band's picture. This is the first album for Timothy B. Schmidt on bass, replacing Randy Meisner. So there's that lineup change for this album. I feel like this album, kind of to backtrack a little bit to when like Bernie Leadon was in the band. I think when he quit the band, he kind of thought that the band needed to take a break, and I think kind of this album and like what happens after it and stuff kind of shows that he was right in a way. I mean, of course, if they had taken a break, then we wouldn't have got Hotel California. But this album, I think, just shows a band that's kind of just really tired. It seems like, at least. It's just not, I don't know, it's especially coming after Hotel California, which even though that isn't my favorite album of theirs exactly, it's still just got so many highlights on it, and the like strong points that were so strong. And just this album, I don't think anything on here quite like hits that exactly, and most of it's just kind of a little bit under, or that like under what I would expect from them normally. So the album opens with The Long Run, which is a song by Henley and Fry. It's got a strong vocal from Henley, and I think it's a really good opening track. It's kind of tied for my favorite on the album, but just I think a really strong way to open the album. And actually, I really like Timothy B. Schmidt's bass part on here, so strong, like kind of opening for him. And then the second song is kind of his big moment on the album, really. I Can't Tell You Why. It's written by Timothy B. Schmidt and Henley and Fry. He has a really great vocal on it. It's kind of a song that took me a while to get into, I think because it's a little bit slower. But it's really grown on me, and now it's one of the tracks I really enjoy on the album. Third track, In the City, is the Joe Walsh song, or the Joe Walsh vocal on the album. It's by Joe and Barry DeVisron. I probably butchered that, but sorry. Anyway, and it's a pretty cool song. Pretty good vocal from Joe. It's got some cool guitar stuff on it. It's pretty catchy. So it kind of continues the album, going pretty strong in the first half. The fourth track, Disco Strangler, is by Henley, Fry, and Felder. This song is really weird, and I like it now kind of, but it took a really long time to grow on me. I think they were trying to do like the opposite of disco or something with it. I don't know. It's really weird, and it almost sounds like all the different parts of the song, like they don't seem to fit together that well. Just like all the instruments are doing just weird things, and I don't know. It's definitely an interesting song, but it kind of a song that like the different parts of it kind of clash with each other a little bit. At least to me, they do. So yeah, it's a really weird track, Disco Strangler. Fifth song, The King of Hollywood, song by Henley and Fry. It's about Harvey Weinstein. No, sorry, that's probably not funny, but yeah, it's kind of a like this slow, sleazy kind of song, and they really on this album kind of do like a few of these kind of just slower, like mopier songs. And from what I kind of remember about this song, like normally I thought that I liked it kind of, but tonight listening to it I was like, yeah, this is kind of a little boring. So I'm not really sure where I stand on this song right now. I always remember liking it. It's been a while since I've listened to this album like all the way through, and just tonight I listened to it and I'm like, yeah, not really feeling this song. So I don't know. I don't think it's like the strongest song on the album. I don't think it's like horrible or anything. Like it doesn't sound horrible, but it's just like, I don't know. It's one that I guess I can kind of be into sometimes, and then like tonight I just wasn't feeling it. 6-track Heartache Tonight. Um, this one I think is overrated, and I think it's probably like the most played song off of this album, or most like popular song off this album. At least it's the one that I've heard like out in the wild the most. And I've never really been that into it. I mean, it's just kind of it's got Henley Fry, Bob Seger, and J.D. Souther wrote it, and I'm just kind of like, really, it took 4 people for this. And that's not to say it's a bad song or anything. I just think it's kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of there. It's because like there are parts to the song. It's like the playing and the vocal that I really like to the song. The song itself, like as far as like songwriting and stuff goes, it's really only just there's gonna be a heartache tonight, and then like that's pretty much it. So I don't know. It's just not my favorite song, but I do think that it's got some cool guitar stuff on it, and that Glenn Frey gives a strong vocal on it. His only like solo lead vocal on the album. The 7th track, Those Shoes, by Henley, Fry, and Felder. This one kind of took a while to grow on me, but it has now. Now I think it's one of the better tracks on the album. It's got some cool talk box stuff going on from Joe Walsh. Pretty good track. I like Henley's drums on it too. The stuff he plays. The 8th track, Teenage Jail, by Henley Fry and J.D. Souther. This one, another one of those kind of slow mopey songs. I don't know. It just doesn't. This is probably my least favorite track on the album. Just not really into it. I don't really. I don't know. It's got a cool guitar solo, but that's like about it for me. I don't really like the vocals that much. Like just the way they do them. It's kind of weird and not my thing. And lyrically, not really. I don't know. It just, to me, it seems like they were kind of running out of like things to write songs about, or ideas for like really good songs when it came to some of this album. The 9th track, The Greeks Don't Want No Freaks, another Henley and Fry song that's just kind of like, this one at least is more like upbeat. It's got Jimmy Buffett on backing vocals, which is kind of cool, but it's a little bit of a waste of Jimmy Buffett. In my opinion, just kind of I don't know, it's an okay song, never been one of my favorites, but at least it's not like slow and mopey. So maybe it'll grow on me. Tonight I didn't mind it as much as I normally do. Thought it had some kind of cool stuff in it, but never really been one of my favorites. So the album for me definitely takes a kind of a dip going into the latter half of the album. But then it finishes really strong with Sad Cafe, the other track on here that's kind of tied for my favorite song. It's got a really good vocal from Henley. On the songs by Henley Fry, J.D. Souther, and Joe Walsh. But yeah, I think it's a really strong way to close the album. I like the kind of saxophone part that it goes out on in the end. So the long run, I don't know, the long run overall, it's an album that, like, I think it interests me more than I like it. I definitely, like, I've listened to it a lot, and it does lose me, points at certain songs. And honestly, I think if I was making an Eagles playlist or something, just all the Eagles songs I would want to listen to randomly, not being on an album, I'd probably only put The Long Run and Sad Cafe off here, really, even with the other stuff that I like. They're just songs that I don't really have the urge to hear as much as a lot of the other Eagles material. But I don't know, it's really kind of an interesting album with like the trajectory of the band and stuff, where they just made Hotel California a really great album, and then that just seems to have like burnt them out, and they just like never were the same. So yeah, this I don't know, it's not bad, but it's just a really weird album. You can kind of tell that they were tired making this, like probably tired of each other and just kind of out of song ideas and stuff. But I mean, at least in some ways. I'm kind of babbling now. 'Cause sorry, it's really late, but yeah, I don't mean to like insult them and say they were completely out of song ideas. There are definitely some good songs on here, but some of them just like I don't think that Teenage Jail or like the Greeks Don't Want No Freaks would have made the cut on like Hotel California had they been around then. So I don't know. Definitely an interesting album. Probably not the best place to start with the Eagles.